Hello, everyone, and welcome to GoT Thrones, a Game of Thrones podcast. I'm Alexandra August.
I'm Johnny Kolasinski.
And welcome to the first episode of Season 7 of Game of Thrones.
All right, so
Dragonstone.
We just finished it. Like, hot takes right now.
Oh, my, I think Jim Broadbent is clearly going to be around for more than 2 episodes, and I am
you got that one.
Tickle pink. Euron is clearly in a band, and I'm not mad at that. He's totally Westeros' own rock star, like with this, like
yeah. I mean, maybe he and Ed Sheeran are gonna meet up.
And that was such a great. It was. I mean, really, I have to say, I think that my biggest hot take in this episode is that it answered. It was absolute fan service, but in a good way, like not in a way that betrayed like the plot or the values of the show. Like this was fan service. This was, or maybe it just I missed this show so much that it feels like fan service. I'm not sure, but
awesome episode.
Yeah, I think that it was one of the few episodes that I've seen that covered almost everything, and it didn't feel like anything was lacking.
Right. Yeah. And it moved some things a lot faster than I expected.
Like what?
Like, for example, Bran.
Actually, oh wait, the previously on, which eliminated an entire house.
Yeah.
I watched that and I was just like, this is the best previously of anything I've ever seen in my entire life. And I watched 90210.
The
minute she stopped the minute they served wine, I was like,
oh yeah.
Well, at first I told my roommate and I were watching it, and I was like, oh, it's a flashback. And then I was like, then when he poured the wine, I was like, oh no, oh yeah. And then it was, oh yeah. Oh.
The one thing I don't like, the Mission Impossible mask.
Yeah, it's
Faceless Man.
That's gonna get old real quick.
But everything else, like we were talking in our
bold open.
episode.
That was a bold open. That was a very bold open. But I'm sorry, you were saying. Well,
we were talking in a lot of what we talked about in our predictions ended up pretty apt.
I know. I was really impressed with us.
What's going to happen with the phrase? We found out what's going to happen with the phrase, and it's Arya fucking killed them all.
Yep. Oh, I don't think we will see the phrase again. Well, not for long.
Yeah.
We did briefly.
I don't think they're going to matter anymore. Nope.
I'm also, part of me is like, why didn't I predict that? Or why didn't either of us predict that? Because of course if she just offs one of them, like, yeah, why wouldn't she fucking stay and finish the job? And it was so gratifying, because I think one of the reasons the show is so popular is that it's a perfect example of genre entertainment, in that it kills its main characters. It kills the people that you care about. It dares to approach real life in that capacity. And that's always the sweet spot for entertainment, the closer you get to real life, but still fantastical. And Game of Thrones does that so masterfully. And it did, and like, that's what that opening, that's what that cold open was like. That's what that teaser essentially was.
Yeah.
Was the most brilliant comeuppance for the phrase, the most brilliant takedown, the most brilliant seat of judgment against them was Arya.
And Arya earned it.
She did earn it. I love that you said that. Absolutely, she did earn it. She fought for years to get that revenge. And like, now I don't like, clearly my prediction, or like my wish that Beric is going to show her mother is buried is not going to happen. But I'm okay with it, because she's avenged her mother. In an incredibly, like, just fabulous way.
Yeah.
Like, that's how a drag queen gets revenge. It was thrilling.
And since we're on Arya, I liked the Ed Sheeran moment.
So did I. So I was like, oh, there's Ed Sheeran, and he doesn't. Well, and it was also like, every time you think the show's going to run away with a value that you don't like, they kind of clean up after themselves. It's now the battle lines are drawn. and we know who's the enemy and we know who's not, and we have our sides picked. But
those were Lannister soldiers, and they weren't.
They were kind.
They were kind. They were human. I was not convinced they were going to live through. Yeah, I thought that there was a small chance that Arya would kill Ed Sheeran.
I saw her eye in those swords, and I was like, "Oh, girl, just take a break. This is okay. Like, this is fine. You can go too far. I'm very proud of you. You've done so good, but like, have a drink. Like, sit down."
Yeah.
Well, and also too, it was incredible because you see Arya feeling so at home with these people, and you see this is what she's meant for. She's a soldier. I think that was the real message of that scene. It was telling us what Arya is. Arya is a soldier. Mm-hmm. She's a warrior. Like this is where she's meant to be. This is what she's supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And I feel like maybe that was a bit of her, like when she kind of calmed down and was happy, it was like her realizing that. And now that she knows that, it's just like she's like Brienne. She's like a baby Brienne. Oh my gosh, now I can't wait for them to meet. I hadn't thought about that until just now.
So the one thing, I am surprised that she is heading to King's Landing.
I am too, and disappointed. I don't want her to go there. I want her to change directions, and I feel like it's going to take her a minute to do it. And so I feel like she might not get back together with like Sansa and everybody until way later than I wanted it to.
Yeah. I'm surprised, but it's not. I'm not surprised because it's out of character or seems off.
Right,
I'm
me
just
either.
Surprised because that's new Arya and not old Arya.
Yeah, and it kind of felt like it's like, well, yeah, you killed a bunch of Freys, but go home now. Like, there's time to kill Cersei. She's the queen. Like, you got a minute. Like, go see about your sister. Take a break. Mm-hmm. So, all right. Well, let's try and gather ourselves and go in order. Yeah. So, after the credits, after the theme song, which we saw Old Town, and then like and King's Landing changed for the first time in 7 years with the Sept of Baelor. Oh, my roommate noticed that. I didn't. I looked away for a second. He was like, "Oh, something was burnt," and I was like, "Oh my god, they did the Sept of Baelor," which of course they would. But King's Landing has been the first and the most consistent toy castle that we've seen in the credits.
Yeah.
Like,
did they change the twins?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I'm gonna couch that and give it a rewatch tonight and see, but I don't think so. But so after the twins, after Arya, on the credits, what was our first opening scene? My brain's mush.
Did we?
I'm looking at my tweets.
Yeah, Oh,
it was back to Winterfell, and it was Sansa. It was actually
it was Jon. It was Sansa giving Jon some sass.
Well, I mean, was that not what we talked about? Like the power vacuum in the Umber houses, and you fucking said, Johnny. You're like, I think it's going to be a disagreement over punitive weather rewards, and what do we do? And what happened? Same thing. And Ellis Karstark showed up.
I am available for season 8, by the way.
Good, I'm gonna book you now.
All right, cool.
You're booked. Ellis Karstark showed up.
Yeah.
And who was that Umber kid?
And
the Umber kid looked like
they called it the car hold.
They did call it the car hold. The driveway is canon.
Yeah, the driveway is canon. And the poor little 9-year-old Umber does not have any of the he's not running in Lyanna Mormont's circles.
He's really not. I love that they hit, like, John was like, bend the knee, and both of those kids were like, yep, okay, let's kneel down, yep, swords out. Like, they could not have done it sooner. It was adorable. Mm-hmm. Well, it was interesting, too, because Sansa and Jon were both right.
Yeah,
they were
absolutely.
both right. And I feel like this is why you have a discussion before you make a presentation. You don't want to, like, contradict each other in front of people, which was kind of funny. That was also something about the episode that I wasn't a fan of. I was like, okay, guys, like, come on, like, they would have talked about this beforehand. This is kind of silly to have it in front of people.
It would have been their pillow talk.
I know. I
That
tweeted.
was just for you.
Thank you. I did tweet Johnson for life because honestly, that conversation, like them, I have to like one of the main reasons I'm kind of for Johnson as opposed to John and Danny, in part, is because John and Sansa have, because they were raised as brother and sister, have a depth of knowledge that I'm invested in. They have a relationship I'm invested in. If you're going to try and sell me Jon and Daenerys in what now could only be 6 episodes, if that, I bet it's going to be 4 or 5. Like, I respect this show for its ability to get a lot done in an hour, but I don't think you can sell me. I don't think you can sell me that. You can sell me Johnsa because it's just fucked up enough to kind of work, essentially. And there's experience there. There's a relationship there. There isn't one between Jon and Danny. And how much did you love like her complimenting him and like he's like everything before butt is horseshit because she's like didn't swear in front of his ghost.
You're nothing like Joffrey.
Yeah. Well, and her saying like
nice.
you have to be smarter than them.
My favorite Sansa moment, though, was definitely you can't have the last word, but I'm sure you'd have said something clever.
I know. I'm sorry. Okay, I just slammed my desk. I loved that so much. She was like, right now I'd like some fucking peace and quiet, bitch. Can you move along? Like, ugh. Also, too, just her telling Jon, like, they follow you, they're good, like they love you, like you're really really good at this, like they function. That's why again, like even if they don't ever sleep together, like I don't need that, I'm not a crazy person, but like I like seeing them play together. I like that because they're kind of two halves of the same coin, and also they were never two characters you expected to have this relationship. Everybody, you know, liked Jon and Arya's relationship or Jon and Rob's relationship. Jon and Sansa have never been thrown together, you know, like until now, and I love it. It's just I just love their chemistry. Like I said, even if nothing happens between them, I think that it's a really wonderful pairing.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't disagree with you on that. I just think it's squeaky ew.
Yeah, totally, and I allow for that. I understand. I can see why that would make somebody uncomfortable.
And I liked our little Brienne Podrick Tormund moment.
Oh, like that too. That's another relationship. I don't really need to see you guys sleep together. I'm just happy to have you share a screen. It's just good, like, because he just gives her that same look, like he can't believe what he's found. He cannot believe his good luck that he just gets to like look at her. And really at the root of that is being a woman, and being a woman who has often defied convention and not been what everybody told me to be, and questioned my place in society because society has determined that I should be a certain way. What gratification, what the amazing validation that Brienne gets to receive through Tormund and through Jaime is incredibly heartwarming, and it's so beautiful. And people, you know, I feel like people kind of miss that in wishing she's with one or the other. And it's like, it's not that she's with one or the other, it's that a woman like Brienne has a choice between two of the fucking hottest pieces of ass in Westeros. Like, just two of the fucking prime specimens of maleness in Westeros. Brienne's just sitting there like, yeah, I don't, like, you know, which one? They both like me. Like, it's wonderful. It's just wonderful to see Brienne validated, especially considering in the books how George goes out of his way to basically say, oh, this woman fell out of the ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down. Like, that's what George said. Like, that's how he writes her. And that's also never really sat super well with me. Because I think it's weird how he kind of goes out of his way to let you know that she's not attractive. And it's like, women don't see each other that way. Like most adult healthy women don't. Like, I don't look at my friends in terms of how they look. And we women are kind of afraid of men doing that to us. And so the fact that George does it so freely with Brienne has always been like, geez, dude, like, just, you know, we get it. She's not super attractive. You could have just told me that she was a woman in armor in Westeros, which is essentially a medieval or like 13th, 14th century England. And I would have gotten it. Like, I would have gotten that she wasn't attractive, that she couldn't find a suitor. You don't need to tell me over and over and over again.
Right. And with the exception of Tyrion, we don't dwell on that with any other character.
Exactly.
Well, and Sam's fatness.
Well, and that's something I think that, like, that redeems the novels quite a bit, is that, you know, he does spend a lot of time, like, talking about ugly men as well. I don't love the way he talks about Brienne, but I also don't think that George R. R. Martin is in any capacity a misogynist or anything like that. I just don't like reading it. I don't like reading critical things about women's looks because it's, you know, for obvious reasons. But anyway,
I don't have anything else immediately on the north, but I'm looking forward to rewatching those scenes.
Yeah, exactly. I really enjoyed them, but I also did not really care for Littlefinger because it's kind of like all of a sudden he's gone from being this sort of mastermind to this, you know, puppy dog. And what that tells me is either that they're going to, you know, he's going to be poorly written for the rest of the season, or that he's going to affect some damage like he always does. And that really worries me because he can do a lot of damage.
Yes. But he doesn't seem to have Sansa's ear the way I kind of feared.
Well, the way they foreshadowed.
Yeah.
Like, let's call a spade a spade. Well, and frankly, I also don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch him gaining her ear. I hope it's something new and interesting. I hope it's something that we just haven't predicted at all. Like, I hope that he has a role that you and I didn't telegraph at all.
Right.
I hope that's it. I hope it's not that, like, oh yeah, this was as good as Littlefinger
he
got.
Actually becomes a valid advisor.
Yeah, or like
example.
you know, we find out that his weak spot is love, and he'll obey that. Like, that's how he is a good person, that he does have the capacity to do that, because that would be surprising and cool and interesting. Yeah, I agree with you. I like that. But we'll see. Yeah. And then did we go straight to? Because we haven't heard. We go straight to Cersei after that, and I loved the intro to that. Where
when did we get our Bran moment?
Oh, maybe was that right at the beginning, folks? I'm just gonna apologize on behalf of both of us. It's been a long time since we've watched this show, and we're very excited. And so we're forgetting the order of things. I think Bran might have been like. It might have been at the start, because at the start was when we got that opening shot of the
you're right.
Of the
Night.
Giants.
That's exactly what it was. We got the Night King
with the Giants.
And we also got the Night King name dropped for the first time.
We did. Also, no, because Davos said that when he was talking to Lyanna Mormont last season.
Oh, he did actually say Night King?
Yeah, he was like, nothing will save us when the Night King comes, or something. None of that will save us when the Night King comes. But yeah, so I mean, that's because there's been a weird like annoyance between. This is another like book v show thing where in the book it's the Night's King, and in the show it's the Night King. And so yeah, it's that's been debated on Twitter a couple of times, I think I've seen. But well, I kept expecting, because they showed Hodor so much in that previously on, like they spent a lot of time on that.
You expected to see him in the Horde?
I was like, no. Oh, okay, just giants. All right. I'm sorry, I'm not emotionally prepared to see Hodor as a white. Like, I know that I talk a big game about like not being super moved by that. I'd be really sad. I would be just devastated if Hodor showed up as a white.
Especially if Hodor showed up as a white and we were seeing it through Bran's eyes.
Oh man, I didn't even. Oh, geez, you just took it to another level. So thank God that didn't happen. But hey, guess what? I bet it will.
Yeah.
I feel like, honestly, because they teased that, I think that I thought for a minute. You remember Star Trek Voyager when Seven of Nine, goes back to the Borg at some point, and the Borg's like, your parents. The Borg Queen is like, your parents are here, and her father like disconnects from like that's like I mean, that's probably I loved Voyager, but I'm not going to sit here and say that it like moved me to great depths because it was not a great show a lot of the time. But that
was one of those moments that they made work.
That was chilling. Like that was absolutely. Was that the one where she like? All right, never mind. We don't need to talk about that. Sorry. Tangent. Yeah.
So, yeah.
That was the level of that. I was like, you know what, actually, like I said, I've talked a big game about Hodor and how I've never been like that connected to him, but honestly, like to see him as a white would be utterly just devastating and chilling, and now I know it's going to happen, and I'm just not looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I was surprised that Bran going under the wall didn't have more weight to it.
Yeah.
Or that Bran wouldn't, I feel like, because I think it's going to be key that Bran is marked and goes under the wall. I think it's going to be part of how the wall comes down or how the White Walkers get through or something. Because obviously that's going to happen. They're going to get past the wall. Like, I mean, if this episode tells us anything from Maester Marwyn or anything, but like,
yeah,
everybody's talking about the wall way too much. Everybody's talking about the wall being a barrier way too much.
Yeah, everybody's talking about how the wall's going to stand forever way too much.
Yeah, way too much. So I thought there would be a little bit more fanfare to Bran getting under, though I did like him being like, oh, by the way, I'm a superhero, and how can I prove to you that I'm a Stark? Because I know literally everything. Yeah,
because I watch you sleep.
Yeah, I don't necessarily want to, but I do.
Mm-hmm.
And thank goodness for Mira. Mira can finally like take a break.
Oh yeah,
she can take a knee now. She gets soup now. Sansa got soup last year. Mira gets soup now. I just like next episode is just gonna be like Mira quietly eating a bowl of soup, and I would be completely happy. I'd be like, you know what, girl, you earned that. You earned that soup. Sip it slow.
Mira finally doing laundry.
Oh man, what a thankless role.
Right?
Poor chick. Ellie, I'm sorry, I forgot her name. Ellie, I think it is, but she's doing a lovely job.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
I realized too that we've seen Ed in production stills in the same lighting that John is when John's in the South. So.
Oh really?
Yeah, we have. I didn't realize that. I hadn't looked closely enough. Or they released a new one and I saw it and conflated it with another one. But it looks like, and speculation zone, folks. Don't listen if you don't want to know, because I'm pretty sure I'm right. It looks like Ed's going to bring Bran to Winterfell, and Bran's going to tell Jon to go see Daenerys.
That makes sense to me.
I'm real excited for that. Should we talk about Euron?
Yeah, let's talk about Cersei and Jaime and Ronnie.
I actually surprisingly enjoyed that we were getting to see the map carpet built, like painted. It was like, that's really kind of fucking cool, because really we have, the map table that they name dropped Aegon for. Like, I mean, the previously on, even before we get to the Arya stuff, was just incredible. Like, that was...
Yeah, like the actual previously on.
Was really good. It was really well edited. It was just, like, it called back to... Like, we saw Viserys. We saw season 2 of Stannis when he fucking talks about... Sorry, gratuitous swearing. If you read the iTunes reviews, you would have been prepared. We saw Stannis talk about the fact that Aegon built this table, and then we see Daenerys do it, which means Aegon built the table when he was a conqueror. Mm-hmm. We're seeing
it was his battle table; it wasn't his ruling table.
Exactly, and we're seeing Cersei do the same thing. It just gives so much weight to these events that are happening in Westeros. We're seeing history in the making. It's fake history of like a fantastical world, and I get that it's a television show and I'm not a crazy person, but like that's like, what an ingenious way to raise the stakes of this whole thing. So like when people write maps, that's when things are happening.
I really liked the Cersei Jaime scene, and
as did I.
Another one I don't want to talk about it too much because I want to discuss it in depth because
Homie,
it's just...
time is now. Time is now. Let's talk about it. What you got?
Oh, I need to rewatch it, is what I'm saying.
Well, I guess I will say, like, my roommate and I were just like, Jamie, why are you even there?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's so tragic to me because Jamie doesn't agree with anything that's going on, but he can't leave.
Yeah, is he there? Is he there for Cersei?
I don't think he knows
or
any
is he
other
there
way to
because yeah, or is he there because he knows that he knows what Cersei's becoming?
Yeah.
But if that's why he's there, then why is he there and being her enabler?
Exactly. And this is where I say that, like, this is why I'm scared that we're going to lose him, because this is all of these, every single second he's in King's Landing is an opportunity that he can cut and run and be on the right side of history. And he's not doing it.
And he's not going to do it.
And because honestly, he doesn't know how. He doesn't know any other way to be. He doesn't know any other way to be than be a Lannister and Cersei's brother.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know how to do anything else. And that's what breaks my heart for him, because I know that he's capable of it, but he doesn't know that. And he can't really receive it. Like, he...
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it's really hard, especially because he's the fucking smart one. Like, he's
right.
the not crazy one. He's the nice Lannister soldier that Arya would have met. Like, he would have given Arya some, well, maybe not, like, you know, post.
This Jamie would have.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
And
I'm really... Did I call the fucking crazy lust hate sex that Euron and Cersei are gonna have, or did I fucking call it?
Ronnie was...
I would have married him, and I know
he was
all about him.
Ronnie, to me, this telling of Ronnie is Christian Bale American Psycho.
I'm so into it. I am 100% here for this. I mean, we talked about this like 2 episodes ago. I was like, not excited for Ronnie Greyjoy. I am here for Ronnie Greyjoy right now. We do have to, I gotta call out the show right here, right now, for the fact that, like, the timing on this is utterly ludicrous. There is no way they could build that many ships. And the exciting, cool castle ship, the flagship.
I think that silence and that one would have stuck around.
That's an old one. Yeah, okay, that's been built a while ago. But how much did he, like, Cersei's like, well, you killed your brother and you're clearly not loyal. He was like, yeah, actually, it was awesome and I totally recommend it. Like, it's a really quick way to move up in the world.
Drinking game, by the way, every time Euron says murdered, take a shot and you will be murdered.
Oh.
Because he relishes talking about it, like, he actively says, who talks about themselves murdering someone using the word murder?
He's the guy, he is the first person to tell anybody, he's like, oh, it's not a flock of crows, it's a murder of crows.
Yeah.
He's the first guy. He's always the guy at the party who's like, no, it's a murder of crows. Because he just likes saying murder.
Yeah, it's...
He was so likable.
Ronnie Greyjoy. He was absolutely likable.
I was like, you seem like a good fucking time, dude. I would have, like, dude, in terms of Balon, fucking Ronnie versus Balon? Ronnie,
yeah,
every day of the week, twice on Sundays.
Yeah, frankly.
Based on this scene, not based on the released chapters from Winds of Winter, which show him to be, like, a pedophiliac and, like, a really creepy dude. But this Ronnie...
based on this scene, he's A+ number 1 Greyjoy.
A+ number 1 Greyjoy. I'm going to quote you on that one.
But also, he's
and
the kind of guy
there's literally never been an A+ number 1 Greyjoy. They've just all sucked before this, except for Yara, but she doesn't really count because she's a lady, and I feel
she doesn't have a dick.
Well, yeah, and the Greyjoys, yeah, exactly. That's a Greyjoy thing. That's not an Alex or Johnny thing. That's a Greyjoy thing. They don't like that.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway.
But Euron is also, he's totally the guy. He would have been O.J. Simpson and wrote the If I Did It book about Balin's murder.
Oh my God, you're so right. But he is somehow more likable than O.J. Simpson pre-murder.
Yeah.
Which actually, I just felt terrible saying that. I just watched that documentary and was incredibly disheartened and so sad for how many, I don't know if you've seen it, O.J. Simpson Made in America, but so much of it is talking heads talking about how Nicole told them so many times that she was in danger. And they were like, and we didn't listen. Sorry, I felt like since we invoked him a little bit, like I need to say that because it's so fucked up. Like it's just everything that happened with that is so fucked up. Like I can't let that go without being like, by the way, that was an awful, terrible thing, and I don't in any way sanction it or admire him at all. But yeah, it's kind of this. It's very similar.
Yeah, if things got thrown indoors.
Not O.J. Simpson,
apparently, but not O.J. Simpson.
Not O.J. Simpson. I think it's it's an interesting comparison though, because that's what he is. He's literally a rock star. Like I tweeted, I was like, so he's in a band, obviously.
Yeah. Like
he walked up in his cool leather with his like open shirt. He looked way more attractive than he did last season at all. Yeah. Like at any point.
He cleaned up good.
Yeah. He knew how to impress this queen, and honestly, it's totally working. Cersei's so into it.
I think he's the Jared Leto of Westeros.
My friend Jared Leto.
That too.
I'm
he more is in touch with Dune.
He leans. He's the Jordan Catalano of Westeros, but deadly. Oh man, who's Brian Krakow? Westeros.
I don't even know who Brian Krakow is. So
Westeros meets My So-Called Life. There are a couple of girls listening to this right now that are like, oh my god, and they have several candidates for who Brian Krakow is and Podrick Payne. Anyway, yeah, sorry. So all right, so it was interesting to me how gleeful Cersei was, and how she said that Tommen had betrayed her. I don't know if I think it's going to be bad writing if we don't see her break down at some point. Not break down, I guess, but like at some point connect to her grief, because at this point I feel like she's almost in shock.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that...
Like, Jaime actually had to say to her, like, all of our children are dead. And she's like, I know.
Yeah, and?
We got to get a move on. Like, I know this. You're telling me shit I already know. We're not getting
any younger, and we've got a dynasty to make.
Yeah, for ourselves.
Which isn't how dynasties work.
Good call. I thought about that, too. I was like, that's not... Like, that's kind of the
Cersei, like,
of a dynasty.
If that's what we're calling you on, you're having an okay day.
That's true. That's the worst thing you've done this episode is misidentified dynasty. Then it's a good day for everyone in King's Landing.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
It really is. Hey, did you remember that point where Arya wiped out all the Freys?
Yeah, that was a good thing.
Yeah, sorry, I just wanted to call back to that for a second, because I think it bears mentioning again. Because she wiped out the entire Frey family.
All of the Freys.
Because she was like, oh...
There is no Frey dynasty.
I wasn't fucking kidding when I was like, I'm an assassin and I have a list.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that wasn't a joke. That wasn't for fun. I went to Assassin University, and I graduated with honors.
And I mean, she also, like, she did Costco brand murder.
She did! Which is kind of how you should do it. If you're going to do it. If you're going to murder a house of people. If you're going to murder a murder of people. Then you got to go big box. You got to streamline. Yeah. You got to automate. And I loved how she was totally feminist. She was like, no, I'm not wasting one on a girl. Winky, wink, wink.
Yep.
You're innocent.
One thing that bothered me, they said they were drinking Arbor Gold and it was a red wine.
Oh, I thought about that briefly.
Worst episode ever.
I have a bone to pick with you, Game of Thrones. It's not about the amount of ships that can be built.
Yeah.
In a certain period of time.
This isn't about the logistics of shipwriting.
Of skin contact and tannins.
Yeah.
That's what that is. Okay, so King's Landing, Cersei's sitting pretty. Jaime is like clutching his pearls.
Yeah.
Cersei's
like, somehow living her best life.
She actually, yeah. I'm glad that Cersei's having a good day. Cersei deserves a couple of good days before she is
stabbed in the face by her brother.
Yeah, like flayed alive, which is what she deserves. I think it was interesting that she really drove home the point about Tyrion, and I think it was interesting because I think it was meant to show us that Jaime is having doubts, and he doesn't want to kill Tyrion.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and he is, and what that means is, like, not just doubts about killing Tyrion, but doubts about the regime in control and whether or not Daenerys would not be better in this job. And I think Jaime knows that. I think Jaime knows that Cersei is batshit crazy and has no business ruling her middle finger, much less the Seven Kingdoms, as much as he loves her.
Like, Jaime would be texting Tyrion from a burner phone right about now.
Yeah, I love it. Yes.
Like, you know, save me a seat.
Where you at?
You know, yeah, where you at? How are things?
What's going on?
What's up?
Hey. ... So, it was heated last time. I hope you're well. I hope this finds you well. I know that things have been chilly between us, but, you know, you just know that I wish you the best, and I'm thinking about you.
Yeah. Yeah. Or it'd just be you up.
Oh! And then Tyrion gets it and, like, shows it to Daenerys because they're, like, hanging out watching TV, watching Netflix, and she's like,
"Yep,
idiot."
Good answer.
Don't answer.
No.
Don't answer. You're better than that. Just let it go. Oh my gosh, Game of Thrones really hit home for me a lot this episode.
Citadel. I think we can pop over to the Citadel.
I don't think I fanned out as hard at any point in this episode as I was when Jib Broadbent just laid it the fuck down. And
we got the why are Maesters Maesters? We got it in a sentence. It's we're the world's memory.
We hold this world. Okay, I'm sorry. I have to get the exact quote because I tweeted. I was just absolutely. I think my tweets go like this. It was, Jesus, I'd marry Ronnie Greyjoy at this point. Christ, Sam, chin up. This is way better than Craster's Keep. Goddamn, I love Jim Broadbent. We are this world's memories. I'm in awe. We are this world's memories. I don't think that I have had a better explanation of education.
Oh, very nice.
In my life. Most of you guys don't know me personally, obviously. Some listeners do, but my father was a teacher. My stepmother was a teacher. I have never been an educator. I've been a tutor, but I've always looked at education as the same way Aaron Sorkin does. Like, education is, what did he call it?
It's the silver bullet.
Education is the silver bullet. Knowledge, teaching people. That's how humanity survives, and that's how we are our best selves. And to have that so I love education, and I'm kind of romantic about it because I just see the keys. I see the doors it unlocks for people, and I see that that's how people achieve true liberty is through knowledge. And especially with everything going on in our country right now and the political upheaval in the world that's frankly always been there and is now just probably more present to a lot of people, like, to have somebody write a line about education that's that beautiful and that poetic and that true was just made me feel good to be an artist. It made me feel good to be on this side of history. Made me feel good to be an entertainer, to be in the entertainment industry, to know that there are people out there who look at it like that and that we have a platform and we're using it to showcase this idea, this value.
At the same time, it also, the fact that we're what's keeping it all together, and the world has ended 100 times.
I know, it's so backward.
I loved that. So you're not gonna get the, you know, rushed through the process just because you think the world is ending, because the world has been ending.
He's like,
all the time.
And I 100% believe that there's a Night King, but there's also an ice wall, which we built for this express purpose.
Right.
And it's, so far as I know, it's still standing.
I think that we are going to... I think that the Maester, like, showmaesters and bookmaesters are two very different beasts.
Yeah. Though I feel like they nailed Marwyn.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, though, I also think that's to Jim Broadbent. Like, that's just, God, he's a fucking genius. He's so good.
Mm-hmm.
He's so good. Sorry, I just needed a moment with that one, but just like because I love him so much. But
my favorite tweet, by the way, about the whole Sam scene was that Sam's getting ready to bring Stomp to the Citadel.
He is all of his pots.
Yep.
Though I still go back to this fact, like I'm like Sam is whining so much, and that was annoying to me. I was like, bitch. Literally Craster's Keep, and you saw an army of the dead walking with your friends.
And now
you should be loving cleaning out chamber pots right now, because John sure would. John would be like, this is all right for the rest.
I mean, Ed would trade you in a heartbeat.
You were on vacay compared to the Night's Watch.
Yeah.
It's warm, and people are kind of nice to you. Kind of. Not really.
People aren't actively trying to kill you. People that your coworkers aren't actively trying to kill you. You're having a good day.
Yeah, this is fine, Sam. So maybe like now I'm like, this is the first time I think I was ever annoyed with Sam. This was the first time because I was like, okay, now I see that you're a little bit whiny. Now I see why your dad was like, okay, I'm going to take you to the
Randy
woods.
was right all along.
To a degree. I see where the relationship broke down.
Mm-hmm.
I really was. I thought it was a really interesting kind of zigzag that I think you and I, and probably everybody else who knows about Marwyn, assumed that it was going to take a minute for Sam to meet him.
Yeah.
And that he was going to be thankful for Sam's knowledge. That he was going to be like, oh my gosh, there's a White Walker? Well, let's get moving. Let's do it. And
yeah, this is what I've been screaming about on InfoWars for years.
Absolutely, totally. Like, I mean, we're kind of led to believe that, especially by Marwyn's character and the characterization in the books, and kind of just everybody said they were going to hurry up the pace this time, and for me, the pace was like, okay, well, Sam just like he gets to the Citadel and immediately like knocks on the Archmaester's door. He's like, by the way, I don't know if you've heard about Hardhome, that episode. I don't know if you saw that, sir, but
yeah.
The Night King's like 100% real, and he's a big deal. So to have Sam have to convince Marwyn that this is a problem, this is why. Okay, so I think Sam's going to figure out how the wall could come down. I think that's what we learned, because John announced Dragonglass. John was like, dude, Dragonglass is the thing. We need to mine that. Like, we need to make weapons. We need to do this and this and this. Dragonglass. So I think...
Also, what's Dragonglass? Somebody needs to figure out what the hell Dragonglass is because, well, it's important.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, nothing... So I think at this point it's redundant for Sam to discover how to manufacture Valyrian steel or anything like that. Now I think...
I just had a thought. So... One thing that he said was that Targaryens would decorate their weapons with dragonglass. What if Valyrian steel...
It's like refined dragonglass?
No, what if Valyrian steel isn't anything? As far as killing White Walkers goes, and there just happen to be,
just dragonglass all over them.
Yeah, there just happened to be a dragonglass inlay on ice.
Oh my gosh, on
Longclaw.
Well, I think you might be right, because why would they mention that? And also, like, who would decorate their fucking sword with obsidian? Mm-hmm. Why would you do that? Unless you were on a television show and you needed to communicate that, like, dragonglass was important and it was inlaid. Like, that's a secret to Valyrian steel. Well, and also ice is dark. Like, this is in the books, but, like...
Oh, well, he had Longclaw, not ice, but yeah.
Okay, but like, and he has Heartsbane, or Sam has Heartsbane. But, like, ice is a Valyrian steel sword, and ice is known to be a dark sword. Like, it's known to be, like, dark in color, which would make... everyone who's listening to this who knows how to, like, be a blacksmith and make metal... I don't know any of that. So I don't know that it's possible to, like, mix obsidian with steel. It's probably not. But I think for the purposes of this show and for this podcast, we're going to say that, like, we're going to assume that it is.
Or even, like I said, it was just a decorative inlay.
Can you do that with obsidian to steel?
I don't know.
That's kind of what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if that's possible. But, I mean, I don't know. Game of Thrones just said that you could build 1,000 ships in, like, 2 months. Yeah. So,
also, do we know that Dragonglass is actually obsidian?
I mean, it's I think
it's obsidian.
Yeah,
but...
it's obsidian. I think that's the idea. I mean, the way they describe it, it's crumbly. It's a black, like, reflective stone. I don't know what else I don't know what else it's supposed to be. I think it's obsidian in the way that Dorne is Spain.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. With their, like, hot pepper food and their mountains separating them from the rest of the continent, and their, like, kind of weird liberal ways. Like, it's so much. It's so Spain. It's Ibiza.
Yeah, there we go. I was going to say, and their loose definitions of monogamy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Starfall is 100% Ibiza. That's, I think Ashara Dane didn't kill herself. She just took way too much E and fell off a castle. Maybe that went too far. I don't know.
Yeah, they crossed the line.
Maybe. Sorry, Ashara Dane. We didn't meet her. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so Maester Marwyn is not here for anyone's bullshit, but the other important thing that we figured out in the Citadel is that Jorah Mormont.
Yeah, J-Bear's locked in a closet.
And that grayscale is spreading fast.
Yeah.
That arm did not look good.
Yeah, he's I'm a little worried about Jorah.
Honestly, I'm not. And the reason for that is that he showed up identifying with Grayscale and being sick in the first episode. So now this to me is an arc of triumph as opposed to an arc de triomphe. His arc, his storyline is one of triumph as opposed to, maybe it's tragic triumph, like maybe he's going to like get well enough to go and help Daenerys in a battle and die or something. But like, I don't think you show him with that unless you're going to show him the cure. You're going to show him cured.
Or he's going to be a Sam tool. Maybe he's not going to get well and fight, but maybe he's going to be the introduction to Daenerys because they know that there's Dragonstone, that there's Dragonglass at Dragonstone, which they named it Dragonstone. Why wouldn't they figure there'd be Dragonglass there?
It's literally made of Dragonglass. Like, that's the way they describe in the books. It's like you walk around, like it's like a big obsidian rock.
Mm-hmm. So like maybe it's going to be what gets Sam in the door.
You know, I don't know that Jorah. I think we forget how prominent Jorah was for so long because he kind of sat out a lot of the last season.
Yeah,
Jorah is. I mean, he's third build in the cast. Like, he's hugely important, and we forget that just because I think they sort of miscalculated his relationship with Daenerys, and it's at times creepy and at times uncomfortable, and then also like loving, and some people really like it and some people don't. Like Jorah doesn't fit into Jorah doesn't fit into anybody's box easily,
right?
And so I think that people I kind of just forgot about him, and I've always been somebody who's like, I like Jorah, but I'm not. I'm way more interested in his niece, frankly. And I would really, really be pleased, though, because I love Ian Glenn so much, and I think that character is a really worthwhile character. I just don't know that the show has really marketed him properly. Or
right.
He's a difficult character to market, I think, because there's a lot of uncomfortable stuff about him. But he's one of the most
creepy old man slaver.
Well, he's also one of the most honorable people on this show, and he's one of the most loyal people, and he's one of the most modern people. Like, he was the guy who was like, Ned Stark sold me the fuck out because I made a mistake because I was trying to save my family. And well, I mean, kind of, sort of. I mean, like, he sort of got himself into trouble with that lady of his, but at the same time, like, Jorah is somebody who advocates for people changing their lives and getting better. And Ned Stark, like, one of his fatal flaws was that he really didn't believe in redemption.
He didn't believe in redemption.
Yeah, not really. And it's so interesting to say that because you feel like Ned would. Yeah. And I think he would in a certain context. And I really love that Sansa said to Jon, like, you need to be smarter than him. I miss them. I miss Rob. I miss Ned. I miss my father. But they both lost their heads. And I think that's I wonder if that's not a message of where the show is going this season, where it's going to break some serious new ground in the sense of like, okay, yeah, you all miss all these people, but we're going to like give you something better. We're going to give you Arya, who wipes out the phrase, who doesn't blink a fucking eye at it. We're going to give you Sansa, who's telling Jon, you need to be smarter than our father, despite how much I love him. Can you tell I'm excited?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's evident.
Yay.
So Sam's at the Citadel, ironically, like, people do believe him about the White Walkers, but they're not going to do anything about it, and Jorah is there, and Jorah knows about it. I think I see what you're saying in terms of Sam, and that, like, Jorah would motivate Sam, because he would tell him about Daenerys. And maybe, but see, okay, and I've said this since the beginning, I just wrote an article about this for Geek Magazine, or geekexchange.com. I think what Sam's going to figure out is Jon's parentage. I think he's going to put it together. He's going to be the guy who's able to prove it, because most of the reason I think this is that Bran telling Jon he's a Targaryen does fuck all, pretty much.
Right.
No one's going to believe that. Westeros is no stranger to pretenders to thrones. There were 5 Blackfire rebellions. 5 of them. And those were legitimized Targaryen bastards. This is an illegitimate one.
Yeah.
That everyone thinks doesn't it? That everyone thinks
this is an illegitimate one whose only real pedigree / proof is that his kooky brother says that he's not actually his kooky brother.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't see what good it does Jon. I don't see how this truth can have weight, except for Jon being like, oh, okay, let's not tell anybody that, because I already have a lot of responsibility.
Right.
So I feel like it's either going to involve Melisandre, or I don't know, something like there's something more to Jon being Targaryen that has to happen, because it's useless otherwise. Like, there's just nothing, there's no way to, like, unless you can corroborate it, unless you can prove to Westeros and make them believe it, that he's a Targaryen, or unless somehow we find out that being a Targaryen is useful, like they're an X-Men or something, like you need to be Targaryen to fly a dragon, I don't know. Like, unless that happens, there's no point. This whole thing, it's going to be like Jon's death again. It's just a fucking plot device. And I think that George has had this in mind for a long time, and I think he's probably definitely communicated it to David and Dan, because they've said that, like, you know, we don't have the specifics, but we know basically, he's told them basically how it's going to end, and how
they have the roadmap.
They have the broad strokes. Yeah. This is, I think that I feel like, I think with Marwyn there, I think with Sam there, and I think with the necessary corroboration present, like, I think that's what's going to happen, along with other stuff. And I don't know if you agree, like, it's definitely pie in the sky and it's a little bit tinfoil, but I don't see how else Jon's lineage is relevant. Did I lose you?
We're on the same page there.
Okay. So after Sam, I think I don't know if this is directly where we headed, but Brotherhood Without Banners.
Oh, wait, I forgot all about that. Yeah.
That was so sad.
That was so sad. And I forgot about
those 2 people.
The family. Yeah.
I did too. And I felt horrible about it, because they were very nice people, and he was right about that. And he knew, like, that was just so beautiful. It wasn't a surprising story. Like, once it started happening, I kind of figured, like, once they got to that house and he didn't want to go in, it was pretty easy to tell what was going to happen in that sequence. But it was so incredibly effective.
Yeah.
So beautiful. Him and also, like, so funny. I'm sorry, this could be its own spinoff. I love fucking Beric and Thoros and Hound. That's a show in itself. Like, nice work, gentlemen.
Let's just make more bold jokes.
Yep. I don't care. It's good. I'm down.
I don't like. despite all of this, like, is Clegane a believer?
I mean, he
You
can see
know?
in the flames. He's like
Yeah.
Melisandre 2.0, which I thought was incredible. I was like, are you a sage? Are you like... that's the thing about Clegane. That's a great question, Johnny, because I don't know that he is a believer, but I don't know that
No.
that matters. And
Or, he believes that he can now believe that it's factual without believing that it's like matters. Like, yes,
yeah,
the Lord of Light is real, and I'm still not a follower.
yeah, and I think that that's a kind of a relationship to a deity that Americans or modern Americans right now kind of don't understand, because I feel like we have atheism or we have dogmatic people.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a lot of people. I mean, we have, like, I'm a lapsed Catholic. I kind of identify as it, but I don't practice. But maybe he is kind of a representation of modern religion, where, like, people are like, yeah, there might be something out there, but I don't know what it is, and I'm not sure I'm in favor of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I want to be a part of it. That really kind of echoes The Leftovers too.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was talking about The Leftovers with a friend, I came up with the phrase, like, we're victims of a higher power. That shows, like, how you're a victim of a higher power, not a follower of a higher power. I liked that show's perspective on religion and how humanity's real experience of religion really is a victimized group of people,
Mm-hmm.
as a victimized person, I guess. And I like the idea of Sandor being like, you remember when Melisandre tells Jon, she's like, maybe the Lord of Light brought you back so you could die again, and he says, what kind of God would do that? And she says, the one we've got. And I feel like Sandor's like, yeah, I see the one we have, and I totally see it, and I can totally connect to it, but no, this is dumb. Like, fuck you. I'm gonna do my own thing. I can see the flames, I can see the fire, I can totally receive you, but I'm not interested in this.
Mm-hmm.
But also, wow, how accurate was that? He was very accurate.
Yeah.
So does this mean that anybody can see in the flames, or that Sandor is actually...
Right?
Yeah. Because why isn't everybody looking into fire all of a sudden?
Yeah, like, I mean, if anybody could, you'd think that other people would notice that, hey, we've got TV now.
There's an ice army coming.
Yeah.
I think they might be zombies. It's tough to tell. It's like the picture isn't that clear.
Reply hazy.
Yeah, like they're trying to fix the antenna. Yeah, I guess I don't know that it's maybe his arc to become a believer, or I feel like that's a stupid arc for Sandor Clegane.
Yeah.
To, like, find religion. I'll be annoyed if that happens. Actually. I really thought we were going to see Beric's sword at that point. The flame sword.
How does this move towards Clegane Bowl?
It doesn't, thank God.
Right?
Yeah, I wrote another article on this. I did a series of catch-up articles, but, like, kind of more focused ones. Like, everybody, is like, where's everybody at in season 6? And I did a couple for Geek Exchange that were just more specific. And one of them was, like, who else does the Hound have to worry, or who else does the Mountain have to worry about? And it was partially born out of my extreme lack of desire to see Clegane Bowl. Because, to be honest, like, he's moving north, the Mountain's in the south. Good. Like, I'm hoping that means we won't see it. And another part of the reason is that Eloria, like, Arya has a revenge list. Arya has Eloria has a revenge burn book. She is the Regina George of revenge on this show. Like, Eloria, I kind of hope her and Arya don't meet, because I feel like Arya's going to be like, ha! I'm nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm nothing compared to you. And I think Eloria, if she gets it within spitting distance of the Mountain, is going to try and make out with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're gonna have. Oh, yep. They'll have their moment.
Kiss of death.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm actually really, really glad about how Clegane Bowl is laying out right now, because it looks like it's not going to happen. Fingers crossed. Sorry, folks. I'm not.
The internet got angry at you and doesn't know why.
The internet's been angry at me before, and I have withstood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and I guess from there we've just got the Danny moment.
That was breathtaking. I know. I'm totally on the hype train. I might feel different about it a couple of days from now, but honestly, as somebody who's not a Danny fangirl, that was an appropriate treatment of that moment.
Mm-hmm.
I just seeing her walk the steps that Aegon laid.
Now, who just leaves a castle sitting empty, though?
Stannis Baratheon!
Yeah.
Well, and also nobody wanted Dragonstone. That's the funny part. Like, nobody wants it. Like, nobody wants to hang out in Dragonstone. It's like, effectively a Valyrian summer home. It was, for context, folks, if you haven't read the books, Dragonstone is where Aegon Targaryen literally, like, kept a summer home from his time in Valyria, which is like what, if you know your Roman history, a lot of Romans had, like, if you know of, like, Split in Croatia, there's a fortress there effectively built. I forget the name of the Roman who built it, but he built it, and it was his, like, summer palace, and he would go there and hang out. And so this happened. And so if Valyria is going to kind of be the stand-in for Rome, which I think we can probably agree that it is, that's the same thing. And then Aegon one day was like, I think I'm going to conquer Westeros. And he did. Since I'm here. Yeah, you know. Well, and also I think it was after the Doom of Valyria, too. That's probably important to note. But, like, so it's not a strategically important castle. It doesn't have, you know, unless you have dragons, it's not of a lot of use, which is why Stannis didn't want it, which is why when Robert gave it to him, he was super pissed, because he wanted Storm's End. And Renly got that. But, so when Stannis left it, and I was thinking, I was like, why would he leave it with nobody there? Why is there nobody there? And I was like, well, yeah, he would have taken his entire entourage. He would have gone on progress.
Now, he left... Book Stannis left people behind.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay.
But Book Stannis is a little smarter.
Book Stannis is a little smarter. And he's still alive, which is so nice. Except he killed his daughter. Well, not in the books, but apparently that's been confirmed that he will do that in the books. So, you know, he's not any more redeemable. Oh, so much conflict.
Yeah. That's kind of what I got for the episode. Yep.
Oh, what a great line to end on. They had some fun with this episode. I will say that.
Going back to Sorkin, it's the what's next of the Danny administration.
Oh, girl, you just totally got me there. Oh, applause. Yeah, it was cool. This episode needed more Tyrion, though.
Yeah, there wasn't a single.
I don't think he spoke.
Silent Tyrion is weird Tyrion.
Yeah, I'm not into it. I'm like, especially when we, like, saw him at the Greyjoy thing, and, like, I don't know, especially after the flashback and stuff like that. Like, not the flashback, the previously on. Well, and also I'm, like, so primed for the Cersei Tyrion Jaime meeting, like, and I was waiting for that, and it was, like, very disappointing that Daenerys walked past a table and Tyrion was like, yes, it is a table.
Yeah.
Shall we begin? I think those are words that are really going to go down kind of in history. Shall we begin? I love that. She's just so ready to go.
Yay! New Thrones.
What a good day. There's more Thrones. Like, when it was 2/3 of the way through the episode, I was like, oh, no, it's almost over.
Yeah. Well, good news. You can watch it again.
I'm going to go do that.
All right. Cool. Hey, thanks, everybody, for listening.
Thank you so much. We're so happy to be back.
Super excited.
We missed you guys.
Yeah. Missed this.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right.
Johnny, always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. I'll see you in a few days.
You will see me in a few days. Guys, it's Comic-Con. If you are going to be at Comic-Con, look us up. Drop us a note.
Yeah, toss us a note.
We're going to be around. We're going to be doing panels.
We're going to be doing panels.
And
We'll
yeah,
be
well,
there.
that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's a lot of, that's pretty much
We'll be Comic-Con.
Yeah, it's going to be hot. And super fun. And I'm really excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see you. We're going to have pictures. Selfie time.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Bye,
Thanks, folks.